first of all, let us try to understand certain things related to this chapter. First is variation. Variation means difference in every aspect. Let it be physical, let it be psychological, as you can see behind on the board also. The next is attribute. Attribute means something that is leading to the behavior. Okay, it is the cause of the behavior. Some quality of yours which is causing the behavior is termed as attribute. Okay, and then let's discuss the other term on the board which you can see is psychological attribute. Psychological attribute means your psychological qualities which are leading you to behave or causing you to behave are termed as psychological attributes. Now let's come to the main thing of this chapter, that is individual differences in human functioning. Yes, children, all of us are different from one another, isn't it? You and me are quite different. If we talk about physical characteristics, then also we are different. If we talk about psychological characteristics, then also we are different from each other. For example, if we talk about physical characteristics, my height is different, your height is different, isn't it? Your weight is different, my weight is different. So these are all physical characteristics. Now let us take some examples of psychological characteristics. Psychological characteristics, if you talk about, like my IQ is different, your IQ is different. So intelligence is one of the psychological attribute. Then my personality is different, your personality is different. So, and we will be studying about psychological attribute later on in this chapter more. Okay, you will be studying about other three more psychological attributes. Now students, these variations are adding variety to our life. They are adding color to our life. If everything in this world is just same, you are only finding your faces everywhere, or you are only finding only one type of intelligence in every individual. Let it be either mechanical, let it be either say kinesthetic. Okay, we'll talk about these types of intelligence later in this chapter. So means that life would become boring. So these variation do add color to our life, and variation is the fact of nature. Sometimes this statement you will find in your board examination: variation add dash to the life, that is color to life. Okay, now let's discuss what is meaning of individual differences. This is what we have been discussing indirectly, that we differ from each other. This is only individual differences. Now if we talk about the definition that is given in your NCERT book of individual differences, it says that distinctiveness and variation among people's characteristic and behavior patterns, that is our behavior as well as our characteristics, let it be physical, they vary from each other. Okay, we are all distinct from each other. This is what is individual difference. Now let's talk about the other concept in this chapter, that is situationism. To explain you situationism, I'll give you one example. See, what happens, sometimes you find a male member in your family to be very dominant, to be, always speaking in a rude manner, or always keeping his, you know, stand or his on every matter in the family. Okay, but when this same fellow goes to his office in front of his boss, he cannot show his dominance. Okay, in front of his boss, his behavior will be guided, you know, by his situation in front of his boss. That is, he would be always speaking, yes boss, because he knows if he becomes dominant there, then nothing he would be getting. The boss is going to throw him out. So, the individual behavior varies from situation to situation. This is only situationism. That is, a person might be dominant in one situation, and in the other situation, he becomes submissive also at times. Next topic is assessment of psychological attributes. Now let us try to understand first what is the meaning of assessment. Okay, assessment, if you talk about the literal meaning of this word, it is measurement. Okay, that is, we are going to measure something. It could, like, we measure various physical things, like, you measure your height, you measure the weight of the boxes or something like that. Okay, same way a psychologist measures your psychological attributes, which I told you before: intense interest and aptitude, values. He will measure. Okay, and if we talk about measurement, types of measurement or types of assessment, they are of two types: formal assessment and informal assessment. Formal assessment, student, is, you know, standardized. It is objective. Okay, that is, whether you do it or I do it, the result will be same. Okay, whereas there is subjectivity in informal assessment. Informal assessment is based only on our observations, and our observations could vary from each other. So this is the basic difference between formal and informal assessment. Then, students, let's talk about what is the purpose of this measurement. Why should we measure your IQ, or why should we measure your personality? What we will do about it? See, the main purpose of assessment is to help in diagnosis. The other purpose is to help you to predict about you. Okay, supposingly, I have to predict about, say, any one of you, that you will become an IAS officer. Okay, so how will I predict? Okay, on the basis of your assessments which you give in the class, if you are quite intelligent, we can say. But supposingly I had administered any aptitude test on you, and then I am saying that you will become an IAS officer, or you have an interest in administration, and if you are given your training, then you will be you will become an capable IAS officer, so on and so forth. Now, this means that these assessment help us to make prediction about you. talk about objective assessment, how we can make when we use any psychological test. Okay, for example, if I had applied any aptitude test and I am speaking that you can become an IAS officer, your aptitude is in that area, then it means that I am 99% uh, sure that you are going to become. Whereas if your parents are observing you, they are saying that yes, you can become so and so. They are saying only based on their informal observations. So uh, you know their observation might not be as accurate as that of the psychologist. Okay, this is the basic difference between them. Now let's talk about the domains of psychological attributes. See, first is intelligence. What is intelligence? All of us, first of all of us born on this earth have some or the other in degree of intelligence in us. Okay, no one in this world has IQ 0. Okay, you will be studying about normal probability curve in the later in this chapter, and you will see that its ends are not meeting on any of the axes. Okay, you will get to know that. Now, what is intelligence? Let's talk about. See, intelligence is our capacity to understand the world better. Okay, to deal with the effective to deal effectively with all the resources we are having. Supposingly now I am having board, I am having a book, I am having a pen. Now, I have to make use of all this to teach you. Huh? If I am making use of all this effectively, whatever knowledge I am arranging for you is effective, then the person is intelligence. Okay? Then he acts purposefully, an intelligent person always acts purposefully. Where means he is going to act according to what the environment is demanding him. For example, those of you who are listening my uh, lecture sitting straight and concentration, this is the demand of this situation, and if you are behaving according to that, you are intelligence. Now let me read one of the important definition on intelligence that is given by Wechsler. Global capacity of the individual to think rationally, act purposefully, and deal effectively with the environment. I hope I had made the definition clear to you before. Now, next attribute is interest. Interest is something, some specific activity in which you opt more than the others. Okay. Supposingly, in your school, there are various activities that are taking place. Okay, and you observe one person always going for dance class, always leaving all other the activities in this school. This means that he has keen interest in dance. Okay, so I define interest now. An individual's preference for engaging in one or more specific activity relative to others. Okay, relative to others. Now let's talk about personality. Personality we'll be talking about in detail also in the second chapter of your syllabus. But right now, personality means any characteristic of yours which makes you unique. Okay, like we both are different from each other. There must be some characteristic which is making me. Okay, supposingly physical characteristic, if we talk about, okay, I am a fair girl. Maybe the person sitting next to me might be Vitesh or some. So it is a unique character. This is a unique characteristic if we talk about physically, or supposingly I'm a simple lady. Now this is my unique characteristic. Okay, others maybe she's a clever lady. So all these things are making us different from each other. Okay, and this is what is personality. And these traits are relatively stable over time. What happened, will be explaining you personality in detail in the second chapter. Right now you understand that suppose a person is honest. Okay, it is one of the is trait. And it has been proved that yes, this person is honest. So now this trait of his will be stable over time. That is, he will not speak lie. See, there are situations in life wherein he might shut his mouth but he is not speaking lie. Okay, so that means honesty is his important trait. Okay, now let's see the definition. You can see on the board also. Personality refers to relatively enduring characteristic of a person that makes him distinct from others. Now, see, aptitude refers to an individual's underlying potential for acquiring skills. Okay, that is, in whichever field you are having a talent, if you are given the training, then you become successful in that. Okay, that is what is aptitude. Then next we come talk about values. Values, children, are your ideal set of behavior that you make for yourself. Okay, value refers to enduring beliefs about an ideal mode of behavior, that our behavior should be such. That refers to value. Okay, so in this part I would be discussing till here. Next we will meet afterwards.